and welcome back to Pop Cult X, your pop culture podcast, video podcast, where we chat about all things pop culture from our Gen X point of view. Joining me on this episode today, we have Gen X. I am Danny, so thanks for tuning in. Thanks for liking, subscribing, sharing, and if you haven't done so yet, now's your opportunity. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. That way you don't miss out on a thing from us. Before we get into tonight's topic, I just wanted to remind everyone about our Pop Culture Awards. Time is running out. You can go to popcultx.com/the-poppies or just go to popcultx.com. There's a big button there that says vote for the poppies, and it's pretty cool. I mean, we've never done anything like this, so I think we have a lot of cool categories, and if you would like, I can read some of the categories to you if you want to be amused by what they are out there.
Do it.
Just do it real quick, just to give everyone a little bit of a taste of what you could be voting and nominating for. And they are going to be ending soon, like I said. So make sure you, right after you hear this, go to that website and click and nominate your one. So we got a few categories we have. We're Best Film of the Year, which is pretty obvious what that is. It includes all your blockbuster and indie films of what you thought was your favorite film of the year. And then within those films, the next category is the best or most outstanding performance. So it could be a lead role, maybe a supporting role, just whatever you thought was the best performance. And one of the cool categories that I really like for the films is what I'm calling the best needle drop. And what is a needle drop? It's like when the perfect song starts playing at any particular point in that film, which adds to the cinematic greatness. There are several examples from years past, and I have my one for this year that I really liked. But that's a category that I think it's maybe a little tricky for some people to pick out. Maybe just your favorite soundtrack if you want to just do that. So those are for the film. Of course, there's also TV series, music, song of the year, album of the year, artist of the year, video game. If you're a gamer, hey, you can go nominate your favorite video game. For me, I already know Telldivers 2 because I've been playing that for over 350 hours so far this year. And there's a category for comic books. Gen X is probably right up your alley. You can go nominate your favorite comic or graphic novel, your favorite new character storyline. Maybe there's a new character, comic book character that came out that you really like the arc that their writers are doing for that. And then, of course, for me, this is probably my favorite category for comic books is the cover art. What has the most eye-catching, innovative, or iconic comic book cover of the year? So those are just some of the categories that you can go nominate for. You don't have to do them all. Pick the ones that you're passionate about and just nominate those. And time is running out, so make sure you head over to popcultx.com and nominate today.
That's a big, heavy lift right there.
Yeah, that was a lot.
You were like, I'm just going to give you a little blurb. Boom! Yeah. Let me give it to you all.
20 minutes later.
20 minutes later. But seriously, y'all, make sure that you make your way over to the first. This is your first ever.
Yeah.
Okay, so how about this? What if people go on, vote, and you come dressed in a tuxedo?
Ooh, I was thinking of doing something like that. In January when we have our awards presentation, I was going to, little bow tie, tuxedo, get all dressed up and make it a fancy night.
A fancy night. Red carpet and all.
Hey, if people nominate, I'll work something out.
Okay, so if people nominate for every category at least twice,
okay,
Danny's gonna dress up, completely dressed from head to toe.
Dress up in something, right?
Yep.
I'll go cosplaying something, so we'll see.
Yeah.
At least I want the cosplay as a holiday film because that's where we're at right now. Not next year; we'll be done with that.
Yeah,
but. Since we're talking about holiday films, and since I brought it up, that's what I wanted to talk about this eepisode. Is holiday
such a good
film.
Transition there.
It is. I kind of just, I worked on that all night before we got here. I was like, how am I going to transition this? So you led me perfectly down that road. So thank you.
You're welcome.
Holiday films and anti-holiday films. And I wanted to know from our panelists from Gen X, and I guess I can share my own, what's your favorite? Are you more of a holiday guy or an anti-holiday guy? So that's the first major question. What do you think? What do you gravitate towards more?
So I'm a holiday person, but
Okay.
I appreciate the not the I almost said anti-hero of Christmas.
Anti-holiday, yeah, I guess.
Yeah. Did they make a Deadpool Christmas special? I could just maybe I'm
Did they? They
wishful
made a
thinking.
Guardians of the Galaxy one.
Yeah, they sure did. Wouldn't it be cool if they did like a Deadpool?
That'd be kind of fun.
That'd be pretty kick ass. Yeah. No. So I'll give you. So I'll give you a medley of things. So the first thing is I actually go and see in the theater and like one of those like movie house theaters
Yeah.
that do like retro movies.
Hmm.
They have a DJ that plays and remixes the soundtrack, which is really cool. So
Well, that's
they
fun.
use hip hop and whatnot and just remix it. They're called Shaolin Jazz. If you ever want to check them out, I actually got to interview them at my con, but
Shaolin.
check them out because they go nationwide and international too and do these events
Oh,
in
that's
your
cool.
hometown sometimes. Yeah. I think they were in Austin and Adrian Quintero went
Yeah.
and I believe he went and so he was able to check them out. But they travel everywhere. But anyway, um, favorite movie every year is definitely the Die Hard movie. Like
Okay.
that is a Christmas movie to me. I
Okay.
heard the controversy. I understand the controversy. It's fine. Whatever you feel. But I promise you, every time that you go see that during Christmas, it will never ever leave your Christmas list ever again. It's such a good movie.
Yeah.
Um, as far as animated old school Rankin Bass, there's a one that's always a treasure and people forget about. If you've never seen it, check it out. It's the life and times of Santa Claus, and it's like an
Hmm.
old version
Okay.
of like the telling of how he became immortal. He was like adopted by these like fairies and nymphs and like all these this like magical creatures, and there's this council of elders and immortals. And supposedly he's brought a lot of joy to kids and to families in this story, but his time is about to come to an end. He's actually supposed to die that night. And so the council has to bestow the mantle of immortality. And it's like a whole thing. So
Wow.
I won't
Okay.
tell you whether or not he gets the mantle, but you
You're
can
not gonna
probably.
spoil it. Is that what
I'm
you're
not going
saying?
to spoil it. No, I don't want people to get upset and be like, Santa's Claus is not real. He died? What? So, but yeah, that's a really cool stop motion
Yeah. Yeah.
animated Rankin Bass. So check that one out. And then,
Interesting.
yeah, if you've never seen it, it's a rare one. Like most
Yeah.
people don't see it. You see
I've seen like
Rudolph the
Rudolph,
Red-Nosed.
right? Yeah.
Yeah, but this one's like it's actually dark and deep. So check
I
it
like
out.
the dark and deep. That's pretty
I'm
cool.
telling you. Yeah,
All
check it
right.
out during the
Uh,
holidays
uh-huh.
for
Is it
sure.
a Life and Times of Santa?
Of
Is
Santa
that
Claus. Yep.
interesting?
Life
Okay.
and Times of Santa Claus. I hope I'm getting it right. But anyway, how about you? What are your favorite like Christmas? Are you a holiday person? Not a holiday person?
A holiday person. I mean, I like both. I just like any good story. I mean, I like was it the couple years ago the movie Krampus came out,
Yeah.
which I thought was Adam Scott, which I thought was a lot of fun. Tony Collette, and it was just a really good movie. I really enjoyed the darkness, the twistedness of Krampus, and that
Yeah.
whole. I mean, I went down a little bit of a rabbit hole after watching that and seeing all the different folklore and different celebrations that they have for Krampus, especially in the area where it was generated. And my goodness, they get they get pretty intense with that. Some of like
Yeah.
the parades they have with people dressing up as Krampus. You know, you see fire coming out of like their horns and stuff. It was pretty intense. I was like, wow. I
Just like Universal Studios in your
yeah,
own backyard.
exactly.
It's pretty crazy. And
I
they do a whole year of prep for that.
yeah, I bet. And
Yeah.
I admire their tenacity to it. It's and their creativity and their ingenuity, I guess, to get that done.
Yeah. It's really
Just
cool.
yeah, it is. It really is. I mean, but I'm also a sucker for like I know this is a real another controversial one that people either love or hate. Is Elf,
Yeah.
and I just John Farfano went and with Will Ferrell and they made this silly fun movie with
Yep.
Ed Asner as Santa, and it's just like it's just fun. I mean, I don't take it as much more than just a fun little trip of a movie, and I don't see why people are making it to be a horrible movie when it's not. It's fun. I enjoy it.
It, Wait, people are saying it's a horrible movie?
People don't like it for whatever reason. I mean, it's either one of it's like those ones where you like it or don't like it.
Yeah.
And there's no in between, which is weird to me.
Interesting. That's actually one of my favorite ones.
Yeah,
It's hilarious. Will Ferrell is one of my favorite
yeah,
actors, comedian. So
I agree. I mean, Will Ferrell is one of my favorite, and I guess maybe people just don't appreciate him as much. Either. I mean, he is appreciated, of course, because he's a huge movie star. But
yeah,
there are certain people who don't maybe get his kind of humor,
yeah.
and they don't understand it, so they like tune out everything that he does because they just don't want to appreciate it. But that's for a different episode.
Episode to
So,
each his own,
yeah,
and we shall
exactly. There
leave
you
it there. Will Ferrell is God.
go.
Debate.
I watched the newest Christmas movie I watched. It was on Amazon Prime called Red One.
Oh, how was that?
I liked it with
Okay, okay,
Dwayne Johnson, Chris Evans, and it was better than I expected.
okay.
I don't know if I was expecting much from it, but it was an action film centered around Santa, and J.K. Simmons as Santa was perfect.
Awesome,
He was
awesome.
like ripped. He did like was working out, and you could see like the veins bulging out of his arms. It was pretty crazy. I was like, wow,
Yeah,
he got in shape for this film or something.
he
But
works out pretty often. Actually,
yeah,
that's
I
like
mean,
his regimen.
he is. Imagine that intensity, J.K. Simmons from like Whiplash, right? But
Yep.
put into Santa, who's very wise and caring, but he still has that same intensity in his eyes. So
Yeah.
it was good. I mean, Krampus was also in that, as the brother of Santa Claus, and it was it was worth a watch if you have
Okay.
Amazon Prime.
Out of five, what would you rate it?
I'd probably
Five
give it a
stars.
4. I mean,
Four.
yeah, it wasn't a
Wow.
5, but I'd give it a
Okay.
4.
That's
Yeah,
awesome, man.
yeah,
I'm gonna
I
have to check
enjoyed
it
it.
out. I saw it on I saw it on the Prime listing, and I was like, it just came out in the movie theater, and I was like, yeah,
But
let
which
me
is weird,
wait.
yeah, because I thought that it came out in theater, so I was like, oh man, I wanted to watch it, but I'm not going to go to the theater to watch it. And then I
Yeah,
saw it on Prime, and I was like, oh, well, all right, makes it cool for
yeah,
me. So
yeah.
yeah.
You know what's another cult favorite for me is Bad Santa, and I watch that pretty much
Mm.
every season. It it's definitely not for everyone, and it is definitely adult humor, but it is comedy by far. Is one of my favorite movies. That
Yeah.
and I'll watch Jingle All the Way all day.
Oh, Jingle All the Way is, yeah. I remember when that movie came out. Phil Hartman, Arnold, and
Yeah,
and Sinbad. It's just a
Sinbad. Yeah,
great film. That one is.
yeah,
Yeah, I really enjoyed Jingle All the Way, and I don't know. That doesn't even have, well, I guess it has many Santa Clauses in it, right? The Santa store, the department store or small Santas all gang up to,
yep.
a little crime spree, whatever.
But you
But
just gave me a flashback of the Santa from A Christmas Story too, just now. Like he was like, "Ho ho ho."
and I
That was
was gonna
funny.
get to that guy because I was about to ask you who is your favorite Santa actor of all
Oh,
time, and I was gonna bring up I have a list of who that gentleman's name is because I wanted to be prepared for this episode.
yeah.
Um, So hold on, let me bring up a list of different Santas because he was one of them for sure. I just watched that movie last night, and it was like the ho ho ho, very deliberate. I remember watching that movie as a kid and seeing that it was like, wow, that's kind of scary.
He was intense and scary. He was like, "Kid, I'm finished with you." Well, my favorite Santa's got to be old school. I like the black and white version. Forgot his name, but the Milker on 34th Street, the Santa Claus, Chris Kringle. He was awesome.
That would be, hold on, I have that right here because that's also on my list.
Is it? I knew you would know it.
Well, I don't know it off the top of my head.
You'd be prepared. You at least would be prepared.
Maybe if I can find it, then I will say yes. That was Edmund Gwen.
Edmund Gwen. Yep.
Yeah,
Edmund Gwen. Miracle on 34th Street. Yeah. He
yeah,
was so good.
yeah.
Yeah, it made you believe, could he be telling the truth or is he lying? Oh, he's a good Santa Claus. Then,
Yeah,
oh, Jeff Gillen is the Christmas
yeah.
Story
Jeff
Santa.
Gillen, there you go.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. One of my favorite, I guess, holiday. It's not really. I guess it is a holiday film because it encompasses many holidays. Is Rise of the Guardians. And
Mm.
Alec Baldwin does the voice of North, which is like the Santa Claus in that film. And I think that's a very underappreciated film. It's really well done. The storyline is good about, Jack Frost trying to, be noticed so people remember him and talk about him as an actual mythological figure
Yep.
or a real person. So yeah, that's one of my favorite is I guess Rights of the Guardians.
You know, I've never seen that movie.
No. Oh, you need to
Mm-mm.
remedy that then.
We got a lot. I got a lot to see. Messing with you, I gotta put a list together. I'm gonna be indoors for like 2 weeks straight.
Well, if the weather turns sour over there, then you can just, huddle up with some holiday films and crank out all the ones that you haven't seen yet.
You know, during the holidays, especially like Halloween, that era, like that whole
Mhm.
month, my household typically gets together and watches at least a movie a night. We try
Yeah,
to at
that's what we
least
try to
if we
do here.
can.
Yep.
So we're gonna try and do at least a week of Christmas. Now I will say this is not Christmassy, but it is. It feels like it's Christmas, New Year's. My favorite thing when I was in New York growing up was the Twilight Zone marathons
Ooh,
because it was
yes.
right
I
between.
remember those.
Oh my
Yep. Yep.
gosh! And they
Yeah.
always had it during the holiday season, and I always could connected it. I know it was a New Year's thing, but sometimes they would actually play it in like right between Christmas and New Year's, and it was like hooked for like 24 hours.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
more
No,
than that. It was
I remember that.
ridiculous. Yeah.
And I absolutely remember those Twilight Zone marathons. And I guess I didn't appreciate them more growing up because they were black and white. And as a kid, I don't want to watch that, Mom. That's old timey stuff. And,
Unless
whatever.
you had a black and white TV.
Then you didn't really notice a difference. Yeah.
Right.
But now, yeah, those really were. I remember a couple years ago just sitting down watching some of the episodes, and it was
Mhm.
just so innovative for its time, and it was nothing like. Well, I guess Black Mirror tries to be like it, but it was really well done.
Yeah. Top notch for sure.
Yeah. So another film, which I guess is also controversial, which I enjoy to an extent, and there's a lot of controversy around it, is Love Actually.
Mm.
So
Yeah, yeah, that is I guess that is a Christmas movie.
yeah, it's set around
Holiday movie.
Christmas and
Yeah.
holidays, and I guess it just didn't age well. Is I guess what
No.
people are saying that it's very there's a lot of gender roles and stuff in there that are very um nowadays are not looked upon with the best light. A lot of power dynamics in the relationships that are also could have been taken differently. A lot of female characters don't get like conclusion or they're just there for props for the men role and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I still enjoy the film.
Yeah.
So
Dang, that was in 2003.
yeah, I think so.
God, I'm getting old, man. I thought that was like last year. Jesus. No, it's a great movie. I mean,
Mhm.
I think this was at the heyday of like Hugh Grant before he got in trouble and all that
Yeah.
other stuff. It was a great movie. I liked the setting of it. It was definitely like all the multiple stories. I mean, it worked really well.
I think that was also around the time when a lot of those films like Crash and
Yep.
this one were coming where they took all these multiple storylines and weaved them into a single story. And I
Yeah.
and I always like that type of storytelling. Like Tarantino does it, right? And stuff like that, where they take multiple characters and they're who are living their own lives and they're all connected. And
Yep.
through this one, it's connected using the airport, right, as a metaphor for the connections and meetings and departures. And I thought it was really well done. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, and they had pretty awesome big stars on here. Looking at Alan Rickman, they had
Hmm.
Keira Knightley. They also had Laura Linney. Dang,
Hmm.
Liam Neeson, Colin Firth, Emma Thompson, Hugh Grant. Of course, that is a stocked up lineup. It was pretty awesome. I didn't know back then. Yeah, the gender roles, but the movie sits in a time capsule basically
Yeah.
for that time. I mean, you think about even talking about other issues. We weren't really talking about LGBTQ right
Right.
issues in like the really until like 2000s, mid 2000s, late 2000s.
Hmm.
Um, so this stuff was pretty on par with what was happening at the time as
That's
well.
true. Yeah, that is very true.
I wonder how much they got paid, all of them. That's a big budget. Jesus.
Just on the cast, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. They probably started like Love Actually. We're broke. That's what that is.
Yeah. For I always forget that Liam Neeson is in that film.
Yeah.
When you said it right now, I was like, oh yeah, he was in
Liam
there.
Neeson.
Yeah.
Bill Nye, Billy, he played Billy Mack. There's a whole bunch of
Yeah.
folks on
Yeah.
here. This is crazy. Yeah, Thomas Brody Sangster, he's that little boy.
The little boy. Yep. Yep.
Now he's a grown man.
And the actor
So
from The Walking Dead.
yeah,
He looks
that's
so young in that
amazing.
film. Yep.
Wow. Wow, you brought me into a time machine. That's crazy.
See, that's what we do here at Pop Cult X. We
It
we look at
is.
everything since we're that generation, and
The dopest generation ever. Yeah,
yeah, I agree.
seriously.
You mentioned Die Hard at the beginning, and I just wanted to circle back to that a little bit because it's one of my new favorite films, I guess. I remember watching it as a kid. Well, not completely. Didn't see it all. My parents wouldn't let me watch it all. And it's one of those, and this is something that I've been trying to make a point of recently, is going back and watching films that came out in the late 80s, mid to late 80s, that I wasn't allowed to watch because of my age
Yeah.
at that time, and that are very good. And this falls into that category. I think it came out in 87-ish, something like that.
88, yeah,
So I
88.
was 10, 11 years old, so I wasn't able to watch it. But I just sat down a couple weeks ago and watched it again, probably for the first time the whole way through.
Mm-hmm.
So I've always seen bits and pieces. You see the clips, you hear the yippee ki and you
Yeah,
know about that stuff. But it's not until you see it all the way through in one go and you get to see all the pieces put together that you realize how great of a film it is.
yeah,
And you see that, yeah, okay, it's Bruce Willis probably in his heyday, right? And where it launched him into the stratosphere of, A-list movie stars.
yeah.
And you see, and Alan Rickman was in it too, speaking of Alan Rickman.
Sure
And
was.
it's just,
R.I.P. Alan Rickman.
yes, Hans Gruber. And it was,
Hans
it was
Gruber.
just such a great film. And yeah, I guess, would you call it a Christmas film? You said yes. Do I call it a Christmas film?
No.
It's an action film set in a Christmas time. I mean,
We're at a holiday party, Danny. We're at a holiday party.
okay,
It
here's
just
the question.
happens. There's snow outside, Danny.
What delineates to you then a holiday film? Is it the inclusion of a holiday party? Is it inclusion of Santa Claus? Or what makes a holiday film to you a holiday film?
I think it depends on like the taste of the family. Like I've been at people's houses and I'm like, yo, this is really dark. Y'all are picking this movie to be a holiday happy cheer on Christmas Eve. Like that's deep. I don't know. I feel like I'm a hardcore like 80s action person. So, the fact that Die Hard is set in the like Christmas holiday time, this what was the company called
Nakatomi
Takanami
Plaza or something.
Nakatomi Plaza, thank you,
Yeah.
Nakatomi Plaza, which, well, that's a whole nother joke altogether. Nakatomi Plaza, okay. But John McClane was kick-ass. Have you seen the documentary about Die Hard?
No, I have not.
Yeah, it's on Netflix.
Okay.
It's the movies. It's part of a series
the
called
movies
The
that
Movies
made us or something like
That
that.
Made Us. Yeah.
Okay, I don't think
And
I've seen that episode. Okay.
check it out. It's going to give you more like profound love for the movie. It actually talks about how Bruce Willis, they did not want to cast Bruce Willis whatsoever because he was in a low budget like TV star.
Mm-hmm.
He wasn't he wasn't a premier hero like he was
Right.
on the Arnold Schwarzenegger. And thank God they let him play it. And it was really cool just to see that. But yeah, the Christmas piece, yeah, I'm sure the fact that it adds the Christmas element. But I also noticed a theme. I think in the second one, I believe he's also trying to travel to his family around Christmas time as well. And then now you have Die Hard in the Air, part 2, right? So it's like, okay. So there's an overlay. There might be a mysticism. There might be something about Die Hard being a part of that. I don't know. I like to think that that's one of those things on rotation that can be put together with, Miracle on 34th Street.
Back to back.
Right, back to back. Be like, ooh.
From Miracle on 34th Street to Die Hard. Yeah,
right. Feel like I need to see something tragic, or that'll give me a high level of like testosterone
Yeah,
into my Christmas.
it's like going from It's a Wonderful Life, which is another great holiday film, which we didn't even
It
talk
is.
about yet.
You
It's
sure did.
probably the classic. To me, that's when I think holiday movies, that's probably my favorite. Top of the line,
Okay.
It's a Wonderful Life. Jimmy Stewart, sublime. He's one of my favorite actors of all time, and it's just such a great film. But take that, then right afterwards you watch Violent Night with David
Right.
Harbour. Right?
I think it's a perfect combination.
There you go, double billing at one of those art house movie theaters. I like it.
Yeah. You could just, do like the old school driving. Just have like a triple feature and just go from the kids to the PG-13, PG,
Uh-huh.
and then all the way up to the R-rated. So
Yeah, so that way the kids are falling asleep by the time they get to the R-rated film.
there
I
you
like
go.
it.
There you go.
Uh, Another story, and this will probably be the final one for the night, is then there's been so many retellings of it that I want to see what maybe your favorite is that of A Christmas Carol.
Mm.
So there's been so many variations of it, from like was it Dickens, The Man Who Started Christmas, to the original Christmas Carol, Mickey's Christmas Carol, Muppets Christmas Carol, Scrooged, and I think
Yeah.
the most recent iteration is Spirited, the Will Ferrell Ryan
Yep.
Reynolds flick on Apple TV Plus, which is it's a musical, and I really love it. I think that movie's so much fun. I
Yeah.
really enjoy Spirited. The songs are great, and it's just another twist on the whole Christmas Carol story that no one asks for, and they make it depreciate that self. What's the word I'm looking for?
Deprecating.
Deprecating. Thank you. Joke about that whole trope of Christmas Carol films. So I like that they don't take themselves too seriously in there. But do you have a favorite Christmas Carol movie?
Well, sir, I would say the one that's original with little Timmy. Was it little? What was his name?
Tiny
Timmy.
Tim.
Tiny Tim. Thank
Yeah,
you.
yeah. Little, I guess is tiny. So
Little tiny little Tim. No, that one was sad to me. I liked Scrooge just because it was just really a comedy. It was it was wholesome to me at times, but then it was like really intense. Yeah, so I like that take. I like dark humor, so I would say Scrooge is probably my favorite one. Yeah,
Carol Kane is just so perfect in that role of a Christmas present smacking
she
around
don't
Bill
get
Murray.
she does not get her props, man. She is so
No.
good in
Yeah,
everything she does.
that's true. That is very true.
Oh my gosh, she's a treasure.
Yes, I completely agree.
How about you? What's your favorite?
I'd say Scrooge probably is one I watch every year.
Yeah.
Spirited is going in second just because I like the musical. Sadly, I cannot stay awake during the animated version with Jim Carrey. I'm not sure if you've ever seen it. I can't stay awake. I've tried watching it several times, and by the time the Ghost of Christmas Past comes around, I'm like, okay, nap time. Sorry.
Can I tell you, Polar Express puts me to sleep.
Same here.
I don't know why people love it like that. I can't
And
even
it just
get
had its
past
20th anniversry, I think, this year too, or something.
I
like
know.
That.
I pass out every time. You would think that I took some NyQuil. It's so bad. I mean, it's not bad. It's good if you get, but if it's made for kids, like, don't you want them to stay up? I don't know. It's like Harry Potter bore fest to me. It's just like, okay.
Yeah, I understand completely what you're saying about that. Yep.
Yeah.
But
I'm surprised. I was going to ask you. You said, what was the movie that we just talked about? Oh
Scrooge,
gosh,
Spirited.
no. Right before that.
Violent Night.
You said it's one of your favorite old school. I don't know why I'm blanking.
Wonderful Life.
You have to edit. Wonderful Life. So, Wonderful Life. So one of the funniest things I've heard a comedian say is that he was inconsequential to the story. Like, it didn't matter if he existed or not. Everything would have happened the same way. And I was like, you know what? That's true. They're like, whether or not he jumped off the bridge or he was, the way the story rolled out, he would have had no bearing on the town as is with the storyline. And I was like, interesting.
I guess
so I was going to ask you
from that point.
Yeah,
I can see that, but up to that point, he was consequential.
Yeah, yeah. But some people are like, I heard a comedian talk about it, and I was like, oh, that's interesting. I've never thought about him as not a non like starter or like anything that would be a linchpin to the whole movie. So I have to watch it again.
Well, I mean, isn't that what the whole movie's about? Is it
Yeah,
him
about him possibly
being
killing himself.
consequential and having the
Yeah,
ripples of his life be
yeah,
positive turns to everyone else? And
yeah,
without him there, like the pharmacist that he worked for would have poisoned that boy, and then he would have been a murderer and outcast, and his life would have been totally worse for it. His brother wouldn't have survived or whatever because he wasn't there to save him from drowning, and a lot of other things. So
well,
that's
that's
kind
the
of weird.
story, right? Like if he
Right, that's the
wasn't there,
story.
then all those things would have happened anyway. But the story would have still ended up being what it was.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I'll think about that when I'm watching it
I
this
gotta
year.
watch it again. Yeah. Cause I was sitting there, I was like, I gotta tap into everyone. Like even his sweetheart, right? Like if
Hmm.
they didn't end up together, she would have still been okay. You know?
Maybe,
No
maybe not.
disrespect.
I mean, I don't know. That's something to think about.
Yeah.
Interesting. Hmm.
Just something to ponder on the Pop Gold X episode about the happiest of times. Let's talk about how somebody is insignificant
Yeah,
in the
that's
movie. Yeah, yeah. I'm joking. I'm joking. Enjoy the holidays, y'all.
yes.
Whether or not you like the dark stuff or you like the traditional stuff, just make sure that you play my girl Mariah Carey often, and that you are enjoying every meal at everybody else's house. So
So, from Gen X and I, and everyone here at Pop Cult X out there, wish you a happy holidays and a safe
yes,
and happy, wonderful new year. And I think that'll be a wrap for this season, this year of Pop Cult X. I'm not sure if we're gonna have another one. So, if not, you guys take care out there.
remind them about the tuxedo situation.
Remind him, Gen X wants you guys to see, wants me to wear a tuxedo. So go to popcultx.com and nominate your favorite for the Pop Culture Poppy Awards, our first ever.
There we go.
And thank you, everyone. And we will see you guys, whatever the next time is.
That's right. 2025. Peace out, y'all.